Beer Form Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Pete's Parlay Show for NFL Week 10 and college football Week 11. Got a couple of parlays here this week, and let's get some winners. I need a winner this week. This week, start with the NFL Week 10. I'm gonna pare it down. I'm gonna streamline it. Just two teams in the parlay, putting the whole $100 on a two-teamer. NFL, a lot of interesting sides. The ones I considered, Miami, Tampa Bay, right? I talked with Troy West from allplayswin.com. He made a great argument for Miami, minus 2.5. But then I talked to Brent from BetDSI, and that was the one game he singled out as having a notable sharp public split with the public on Miami, the sharps on Tampa Bay. Now that, look, that surprises me. I see Miami, they got a couple extra days of rest. They're looking like they're going to be able to, rally around the issues with Incognito. And Tampa Bay, on the other hand, it's just more dysfunctional. It starts from the top. The players just hate playing for Schiano. Tampa Bay did look good, with a 21-0 lead over Seattle last week, so it shows they haven't completely quit on him. I'd love to take Miami here, and I probably would have put it in the parlay if Brent hadn't told me that there's a sharp public split with the sharps on Tampa Bay. If the sharps are taking Tampa Bay, the public's on Miami, I'm off it. But that one I considered, and I'm not going to take. Another one I considered, I previewed Jacksonville, Tennessee with Joe Duffy. There's a bunch of statistical trends that point to Jacksonville. They're now plus 13. Coming off the bye, I would love to take Jacksonville plus 13. That's the side that Joe Duffy recommended, but they're just a little bit too shitty, and I'm going to pass. But it's probably the right side. Jacksonville plus 13 is probably the right side. Definitely be careful betting on Tennessee there. But, yeah, I don't know how they're going to put up offense. They have a terrible rushing defense. Chris Johnson had a great game last week. And how are they going to score? How are they going to score? I don't know. Maybe they will be able to. Maybe they'll come in with a huge defensive effort. But Jacksonville probably the right side plus 13. I'm not going to take it. Then let's see what else. Then another one, man. I was all ready to put, Atlanta plus the points against Seattle in this parlay. I was like, man, that's going to be a sharp side. I'm going to have an edge there. I'm going to bet it. I'm going to put it in the parlay. Previewed the game with Stephen O from VentDataServices.com, and Stephen O has been winning with his pay service picks, losing with the picks he's given up. So I think this might be one of his premium picks. He covered that game. I was completely expecting him to say Atlanta. Turns out his pick was on Seattle minus 6. Kind of shocked me. Then I talked to Brent from BetDSI, and he told me that there was sharp action on that game, and it came in on Seattle at minus 4. So, public is on Seattle as well, but the sharps are preferring Seattle to Atlanta there. So I was all ready to, bet Atlanta, put them in the parlay, but because of all that information, I'm going to stay off them. Then I previewed Buffalo Pitt with Tony George. Me and Tony George have, been in complete agreement for a bunch of weeks in a row now, and those picks have all lost. Once again, we're in agreement that Buffalo is the right side here, plus 3. I'd love to put them in parlay plus 3 on the money line, but, Pitt looked awful against. They're awful in general. They looked awful against New England. It's a little bit different to look bad against New England. In the NFL, you never know what's going to happen. I think Buffalo is the right side, but not confident enough to put it in the parlay. Then another thing I'm going to leave out, Denver, San Diego over, right? I previewed that game with Scott Kellen. He liked it at 57. Scott Kellen, that was his pick on the game. He's not doing anything contrarian like super sharp saying, no, don't take it. He said, yes, over 57 is the side that he likes there. I was agreeing with him. I'm still agreeing with him. I talked to Brent, and the public is, of course, all over the over in that one. But the sharps are not. The sharps have not weighed in on that total yet. And in previous weeks, they did. When they felt like they saw an edge on Denver overs, they piled right in, came right in on the opening lines. And according to Brent, that has not happened yet. And he said that, if they were going to bet it, they would have bet it earlier. So with no sharp action on that game at all, I'm going to pass. But, in my personal opinion, I think the over 57 or 58 is the right side. And Scott Kellen agrees. I definitely trust Scott Kellen. Then I'd love to take Cincinnati minus 1 over Baltimore, but, it's a little bit. Cincinnati has a ton of injuries, right? I think we're going to see the good Andy Dalton in this game, but Cincinnati does have a ton of injuries, so I'll lay off of that one. And then that's about it for the picks that I considered. Brent, as far as action that Brent told me was sharp, Philly under 48, he said was sharp. All right, good for the sharps. No way I'm going to touch that one. And that's all that I didn't mention. All right, so my picks for the parlay, just 2 of them, right? First one's going to be Houston, Arizona over 41. It's right now 41.5 at BetDSI. You can buy down to a 41 minus 120. So that's what I'm going to take. Arizona off the bye. You know, Fitzgerald, Carson Palmer, they should be able to put up some points at some point. I know that Arian Foster is going to be out for Houston. That maybe that'll make him pass a little bit more. You know, Case Keenum looked pretty decent. Gary Kubiak is out. Maybe they'll rally around him and try to put up a, get a win, offensively one way or another. 41 is just a low total. I like both the offenses. Keenum playing well, as I said. So I'll take the over 41 in that one, minus 120. And then Carolina, San Francisco. I like the over when it opened at 41.5. I talked to Brent from BetDSI about it, and he told me that was a sharp side, that the sharps came in on the over 41.5 and the over 42. I personally bet it on the opener as well. Now it's 43, so the line's gone up a little bit, but I'm going to include that one in the parlay as well. Right now it's 43 minus 110 at BetDSI. Manningham back for San Francisco. Both these teams have scored 30 points or more in the past 4 games each. So, I think if they can both put up 20, we'll get an over. So those are my 2 picks: Houston, Arizona over 41 minus 120, and Carolina, San Francisco over 43. Put the whole 100 on that, and it's 100 to win, 250.